most satisfying pleasure you can have. It is a powerhouse set in a car with perfect weight distribution, lightweight body and steering like a Lotus Elise. What more could we or should we ever want for? Well, stick around and I'll tell you what else I found out. See, I found out we shouldn't want for any more than this if we're being totally honest with ourselves. This early Spyder of 2010 vintage has authentic sports car DNA running right through its veins. And did you know this Porsche is an open top version of the super focused GT4, or rather in this car's case the 2010 Cayman R, and with it coming from that previous less complicated generation, stifling emission equipment and heavy safety stuff which besets modern cars is absent. So is this small, lightweight Porsche recognised today as one of Stuttgart's best ever sweet spots? Well, why don't you join me, Roger Bailey, on some brilliant roads to find out. Moving off on this flat 6 3.4 litre motor is a tactile, linear delight. As the revs rise, so does the power, which is the way it should be. And then let the revs drop, and smooth as silk and plenty of low-end grunts. This car really is all about the engine. And this PDK gearbox actually suits the car well. It makes you want to actually flick up and down the gears for no other reason than just to hear it doing its thing. More about this gearbox in a minute. Okay, the brakes feel a little bit laggy at first. They need a bit of a shove really, but once you do give them that extra hard shove, far more than you would do say in a modern car, you realise that they are the normal Porsche fare. In other words, stupendous. Oh yes. So about this PDK gearbox, there's a right way and a wrong way to use a PDK gearbox. Leave it in automatic and it will often find itself in the wrong gear at the wrong time with the wrong revs. No, what you must always do is knock the thing over into manual and then set off. And then just remember, you're in a manual without a clutch, and this gearbox is absolutely perfect for the job. And the steering is such a delight. It's light, it's tactile, it's responsive, you can feel everything. It's a beautiful setup. And levels of grip, well, you can feel that there's going to be a limit. It's not as grippy as a modern car. However, it doesn't need to be because it's so nimble. And nimble means turning is super sharp and mid-corner adjustments can be made quickly and without drama. And then onto the grip levels, which are decent if not huge, which makes the car's performance easy to access. Although that said, personally, I think I'd welcome a rather smaller steering wheel to highlight even more the Spyder's turning and feel. Oh yeah, I think I could fall in love with this car. Oh, I love it. Okay guys, Sport Plus, Sports Exhaust, and let's go. It's quick. Yes, that's right, it's quick alright, but one criticism is that the chassis, while being a fair bit looser than a modern Porsche Spyder, could easily use more power. Yeah, even so, our 987 Spyder comes very close to perfection, even when it's judged against a modern car. So what we're going to do now, I think we'll pull over and take a good look at some of the finer details I've spotted about this car, and also we're going to get a look at how this roof works. And the first thing we spot is the way it sits low. It's 20mm lower than a modern Porsche Boxster, the car on which the Spyder is based, of course. We see its purposeful front end draws in your attention, and moving rearwards, these distinctive streamlined humps behind the rollover hoops are deliciously stylish, with the rear sporty look being finished off with this neat ducktail spoiler. The overall squat look is complemented by the streamlined fabric roof, of course, which some say is not up to its intended job, particularly here in the UK, and yes, it does allow in plenty of external noise when on the move. However, it is watertight, even on a full-on rainstorm, and it transmits no more outside noise than that of, say, a modern-day Spyder. The car's overall lightness is helped by aluminium doors, aluminium rear deck, and, of course, the roof being super light, of course, and about that roof. So here we are. This is what you need to do to lower it, or more accurately, just remove it. And so it's a big thank you to my friend Simon, who owns this car, and for expertly showing us this process, which is a bit of a faff. The assembly is a quality item with solidly engineered fixtures and fittings, as you'd expect coming from Porsche, but expect to get wet if you're caught needing to erect the roof when out on the move. And I can hear you thinking, does this umbrella-esque labour-intensive roof ruin what could otherwise be perfection? Well, about perfection. Like many beautifully designed things, like say the Taj Mahal, which is considered to be perfect, yeah, did you know it deliberately has just one brick out of place to make it just short of perfection? And then there's the Japanese art of wabi-sabi, which encourages us to appreciate that nothing is perfect. And so from this we learn there has to be a small element of imperfection to shine focus on an object's overall wonderfulness. And with this nearly perfect sports car, it's the roof design which is that one brick out of place. In other words, the roof is this car's isolated element of imperfection. So why don't we just remove that roof? Oh, that's much better. That's what a Spyder's designed for. Open top driving. It's what it's all about. And you see and you smell and you sense things in a convertible car that you simply don't in a closed roof car. And in this car, the Spyder, you sit really low in the chassis, right down here, which is good for lowering the centre of gravity for good handling. But mostly important for is, well, it keeps the wind buffeting down. Oh, now we can hear this engine in all its glory with its unfettered sports exhaust. It sounds brilliant. Bit of a pity the UK weather hasn't allowed us to drive with the roof down all day, and I know some Spyder owners there will actually drive in a rainstorm, but not for me, thank you. But even so, it is glorious. Okay, so for completeness and for the long drive home in this changeable Welsh weather, I think we should just go and put this roof back up again. Yeah? All right then. So I'm guessing by now I've got you interested in a 987 Spyder, and why wouldn't you be? Well, there are a few things to look out for when buying. Firstly, the good news is that as well as being a great drive, the 987 is pretty reliable. However, when problems do occur, they can be expensive to fix unless spotted early. So first and foremost, delve deeply into the service history and the expertise of those carrying out that service maintenance. Ignore conventional wisdom about mileages, as the 987 can often perform better when used regularly, and those low mileage examples could harbour perished seals, jammed parking brake mechanisms and other issues from lack of use. Bodies are excellent, so any imperfections could indicate damage repair. Coil springs seem prone to going, exhaust manifolds have been known to crack, and make sure the vents at the front are clear of debris, as this can damage the coolant radiators. And then we have the two main things which can go, when they do, it's expensive. They are the real main oil seal on the back of the engine, and secondly, some are known to suffer from scored cylinder bores. The 987 Spyder should not be affected by the notorious IMS bearing failure, because that faulty component was upgraded by Porsche after 2006. And so, despite some niggles which are all pretty rare, the Spyder will be easier to live with than a similarly less grown up concept, which is something like the Lotus Elise, mainly because of its better refinement and way better engineering. But realistically, this 987 is likely to be a second car that's reserved for fair weather fun, and not a cheap one these days either. Still, one of the best handling cars out there, Many consider it to be an absolute bargain, and if you fall into that demographic, don't hesitate. You will not be disappointed. This car is at heart a simple, involving and highly enjoyable sports car of a kind which is pretty much lost in the modern marketplace. It's not just special when it's driven hard, it's a delightful companion at all times, and it's hard to imagine ever becoming complacent with this Spyder's beautifully judged control weights and delicate handling. Quite simply, this is one of the most enchanting sports cars that you can drive with impunity. It's a beauty to behold, and it's a fine example of when you really can judge a book by its cover. I hope you've liked this video. If you have, please click the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and why not leave me a comment? I read every single one and I'll reply to most. And please feel free to watch one or two of my other videos, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.
But you don't